From the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, this is MBN TV. We're coming to you live for the evening bulletin, and the news is also live on our social media handles, MBN 360. My name is El Samuels. The headlines.
Clocksack declares nationwide strike, orders members to stay home from Monday. In business, Ghana signs debt restructuring agreement with Belgium. On the international front, DR Congo government says 200 killed after landslide at rebel-held mine.
The news and details. The Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana CLOSAG, have declared a nationwide strike across the country.
The declaration, signed by Executive Secretary Isaac Bampo Addo and dated March 5, 2026, was addressed to the head of civil service, the head of local government service, all regional secretaries and all CLOSAG members nationwide. Stay at home until further notice, the circular stated. The strike is the culmination of years of frustration over the government's failure to implement a unique salary structure and improved conditions of service for civil and local government workers.
We object to the CRC proposal that the Council of State shall recruit, vet, and make binding nominations to the President for appointment of the head of civil service with the assistance of the Public Services Commission. We recommend removing the special appointment arrangement under Article 193(1) concerning the head of civil service, which requires the President to appoint the head of civil service acting specifically on the advice of the Public Services Commission, and align this appointment with the general framework under Article 195 governing public service appointments.
According to Mr. Addo, negotiations on the matter date as far back as 2019 and resulted in the signing of two separate Memoranda of Understanding MOUs with government representatives. The government initially agreed to implement the structure from January 1, 2023, but later requested more time, revising the date to January 1, 2025. That second deadline also passed without action. Mr. Addo added that CLOSAG had sent several reminders to both the Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, but had not received an appropriate response.
We disagree with the proposals to establish the Controller and Accountant General as an independent or hybrid independent constitutional office. The mandate of the Controller and Accountant General Department falls squarely within the mandate and functional oversight responsibilities of the Ministry of Finance. The CAG operates as an...
A political scientist has warned that the governing National Democratic Congress NDC is now facing a reckoning of its own, having campaigned on language that promised swift jail terms for political opponents rather than due process and investigations.
Dr. Joshua Zato, a senior lecturer in the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana, observed on the AM show on Thursday following news that Operation Recover or Loot Oral had frozen assets worth 1.5 billion Ghana cedis. According to Dr. Zato, while the legal process of investigating and prosecuting corruption is inherently slow and complex, the NDC's campaign rhetoric gave foot soldiers a very different impression.
So they didn't make it look like when we come, we investigate. That's the difference. That's the difference. They didn't make it look like when we come, we will activate the investigative processes. No, they made it look like these people are already jailed, they are already thieves, they are already corrupt, they are meant for jail. And that was what they did that. And that was why that was how it made it from the streets. I'm happy that we are talking about frozen assets. But what is the end game here? It's possible that you can see a case that probably you suspect or you think that there might be corruption or elements of corruption. But something to me tell you cannot win this case in court. I expect the Attorney General to come out and lay out a public policy saying that under circumstances A, B, C, D will go for a settlement. That make it, sometimes what we are missing here is transparency. If you let us know that this is my policy, remember when he came first and started doling out the Nolly prosecuors as if it was kuli in Tumu market, and people started complaining. Now he can come out with a laid out policy, clearly reasoned. Look, under circumstances A, B, C, D, the state or this office will accept some payment or partial payment or some retrieval of assets. And this is the percentage we want to. These are the conditions under which we'll do that. Because, I mean, any lawyer knows that in some cases you cannot win. And also we are talking about how long cases stayed. We've seen them 7 years, 8 years, 4 years. So the Attorney General could or should make that a public policy. If you don't make it a public policy, then people sit down and think that there's what we call kululu.
Dr. Zato argued that NDC...
The minority in parliament has raised concerns about delays in payment to cocoa farmers despite a reduction in the producer price of the commodity.
Isaac Yao Opoku, ranking member on the Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee, described the situation as unfair during a debate on the State of the Nation address delivered by President John Dramani Mahama. He further noted that the Ghana Cocoa Board owes licensed buying companies in excess of 11 billion Ghana cedis.
Mr. Speaker, they are finding all manner of reasons why they cannot pay the cocoa farmer. They promised 6,000 Ghana cedis, it turned out to be 419. They increased the price from 31,000 to 36,000, they didn't pay. Now they have slashed it to 2,587. And Mr. Speaker, even the 2,587, Mr. Speaker, they are not paying. Mr. Speaker, Cocoa Board owns the license buying companies in excess of 11 billion Ghana cedis. In excess of 11 billion Ghana cedis. This is what the Chief Executive of Ghana Cocoa Board told your committee, the Food, Agri and Cocoa Affairs, the Chief Executive of Ghana Cocoa Board himself. I asked him that question, and he said they are owing cocoa farmers in excess of 11 billion. So, Mr. Speaker, if you are paying 1 million every month, it's going to take over 1 year for all the farmers to be paid. Mr. Speaker, is this fair? Mr. Speaker, one of the excuses they are giving is that the international price has fallen. Mr. Speaker, is it the first time that international price has fallen? Is it the first time?
The minority's statement comes after the government announced the release of 855 million cedis to settle arrears owed to cocoa farmers. However, according to the caucus, farmers have yet to receive the funds. Cocoa remains one of Ghana's key export commodities, and delays in payments have significant implications for farmers' livelihoods, especially as the country navigates challenges in global commodity prices and inflationary pressures. The minority is urging the government to expedite payments to farmers and ensure transparency in disbursing cocoa revenues, warning that prolonged delays could undermine trust in Cocoa Board and the wider cocoa sector. The issue has reignited calls for more efficient management of cocoa pricing, disbursement of funds, and support for farmers who are vital to Ghana's economy.
The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has launched intensified inspections of major drains in the Greater Accra region as part of preparation to preventing flooding ahead of the rainy season.
Speaking on the exercise, NADMO Director General Joseph Bikanyi-Kuyon said the preventive work is crucial to safeguarding lives and property.
And starting from here, I think that work has been done, a lot has been done. When we came, the concrete banks were broken down, the slabs were not there. It's been reconstructed. And I am sure that it's just the finishing touches that they will give to it and level up the fillings to create the buffer and embankments to ensure that water has its way when it comes. So we'll be going to other areas, East, we'll go to Peshi for today. And this inspection will continue, not only today. As and when you have time to come and go around with us, we'll be happy. So that's why we are going around today.
The inspections, which began on Thursday, March 5, are part of NADMO's wider preparatory measures to desilt and maintain flood-prone drains across Accra. The exercise is being conducted in collaboration with military personnel and local government authorities to ensure effective coverage. He emphasized that visible preventive measures assured residents. Flooding during the rainy season has been a perennial challenge in Accra, often leading to loss of property, disruption of livelihoods, and in severe cases, loss of lives. NADMO's proactive approach this year aims to mitigate these risks by ensuring drains are functional before heavy rains begin. Residents are being encouraged to support the exercise by keeping drains clear of debris and cooperating with local authorities during the preventive work.
That's why we are doing this preparatory work. The prevention stage is very important to disaster management if we are to be successful. So assurance is itself showing. It is not that we will say it. They are seeing us, they are seeing the work that is being done, and that should assure them that they are not left alone. And of course, we are working together with the communities, the various levels of local government administration. We are working together with them. So we are with the community, they know the work that is ongoing. I think assurance is high.
The President, John Dramani Mahama, has directed that procurement of rice for schools across the country be centralized to ensure consistent purchase and distribution of the locally produced rice.
The directive follows reports that several schools continue to procure imported rice for feeding programs, contrary to an earlier government policy encouraging institutions to source food items locally. In a communication addressed to the Ministry of Education, the President expressed concern that the continued purchase of imported rice undermines government efforts to strengthen local agricultural production, support Guinean rice farmers, and retain economic value within the country. To address the situation, the President has ordered the immediate reallocation and centralization of rice procurement for schools. Under the new arrangement, the Ghana Buffer Stock Company Limited will be responsible for the procurement, aggregation, and supply of locally produced rice to schools nationwide. The Ministry of Education has been tasked to collaborate with the Ghana Education Service and the Buffer Stock Company to ensure the effective implementation of the directive, including establishing coordination and distribution mechanisms to facilitate the timely supply of local rice. The measure forms part of the government's broader efforts to support domestic agriculture, improve market access for Guinean rice farmers, reduce reliance on imported food commodities, and promote local value chains. The Office of the President has asked the Ministry of Education to treat the matter as urgent and keep it informed of the implementation arrangements put in place.
A devastating fire has consumed a 4-bedroom apartment in Doma Ahinkro, leaving residents shocked and dismayed by the loss of their homes and belongings. The flame, which erupted around 6 a.m. on Wednesday, March 4th, rapidly engulfed the structure, creating scenes of chaos as residents attempted to extinguish fire themselves. This was necessitated by the fact that the local fire tender has been out of commission for nearly 3 months. In an interview with DO 111 Eunice Adjuasewa, the Doma Central Municipal Fire Commander, she indicated that preliminary investigations suggest the fire was caused by air conditioner installed in one of the affected rooms using substandard cables. She urged the residents of Doma Ahinkro and the surrounding communities to exercise caution when handling fire to prevent potential outbreaks, given the current unavailability of the municipal fire tender, which has been non-operational for several months.
Definite way, but as I say, and we better share air condition and Obi who say before Janabana, we see a craft free in AP to a prompty or Mokrase as a JB free cinema into your motion. But as a man pay attention before I saw net now a word in the chino. Like I said, I say Ankasan investigation na ye hwe. Ti ye beye na ya hu adekore course ye but see e de oti nkomo a wonna nipa de mu na ti nkomo omudi a na ye esi na andra almost suspect say andra nipa no be hye esi bi ahoma bi na nye standard anasa na ahoden no ebro nhoma no so ntie ne ma ejana ba yes sir mama say omunya hwe yie kakra emaye because omuni me challenges see a ye kom e wodoma ha enye easy say ejaba na ye wotenda fighting ye easy we kura no say no sometimes I don't operating no it's not that easy but here na ye find a way e dey way say sir mama ahwe yie na e be sro.
Several local residents expressed concern regarding the unfortunate situation, highlighting that the absence of a fire tender hindered the Ghana National Fire Service ability to extinguish the fire. They urged the government and patent stakeholders to assist Doma community in either maintaining their current fire tender or acquiring a new one to effectively address fire outbreaks as necessary.
Janisha say treno senkaya say nanka I fire service for more car near Juma anka mijidi senka yetimi dum nentem ba mebo ntem ha ifu abaso pa mo aya de obi aye na fam de ba ese mesre se ni die mu a ka nanka say no say ye kra na so be kra na say e foforo mpo na o si na because when your first time jato ba bia na ahye if you say ye ni ayi adibia ye didunja nti we di ade sre de ye sre because say o sha obi ajapade pa na ekoi mijidi pa nanka se ka na ye adwuma nka ebi e be se kra ntimi nduru se nti we di ye sre ade sre de mpa inform why ka to me da se fa hu ye se sibi amosi ezisi dan ne de emmoa ebi se ano anka ye sa wo bi na matoto afa anka dan komo ya dan komo du mawie komo du jana brother oni mi jana wie fi se a eto we ni mu no anya light no modum na ka betimi ato we ene sa fie ba ko ye wase.
On this sad note, we go for a commercial break. While we return, we'll bring you business.
So there's some look fast so. Baba, me again. Let's go yale. Me call you mum. Who hear me? Menti me sent my friend doctor when I'm crossing over. Share that for me. See what we swear any. Yes, malaria. Hey, malaria. Oh, what they say with the router? Me copy the absence. A drone a friend router mixer. Yeah, come on, let it draw. And running so Gap trap and the draw crew abaso body ase wabo Ruta mixture abaso Ruta natural products nwane Ruta mixture ya ye kutia atridie Ruta tonic and the Ruta life wa ehuru efin srade bone efin paduam na support immune system no Ruta de obi ase ye FDA age dwedwe nkrato ya tu.
Now we move straight to the business front. You still live from on the studios, the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. Now let's do some business story where Finance Minister Dr. Kessel Atto-Forson has announced that Ghana has signed a debt restructuring agreement with the United Kingdom and Belgium to stabilize the country economic following the recent financial crisis.
He recalled that Ghana went through a difficult period between 2022 and 2023 when the country faced a severe financial crisis that forced the government at the time to declare a debt default. According to the finance minister, the country is now gradually turning the corner as the economy begins to recover. Dr. Forson explained that the agreement with Belgium marks the 8th deal Ghana has concluded with countries under the Official Creditor Committee as part of the External Debt Restructuring Program. He also expressed appreciation to the governments of Belgium and its ambassador to Ghana, Her Excellency Karel van Eyl, for their support.
And that does it from the business desk. We go for a break. When we return, we'll bring you some entertainment stories.
Hi, welcome to Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth. Our serene environment and cozy rooms provides a pleasant stay. To book a room with us, call 055-5940-103 and 0241-972076. Locate us at Teshinungwa Estate, number 8 Coconut Street, directly behind A-Life Supermarket. Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth.
Welcome back on the entertainment from the Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Art, Ablan Jifat Gomashi, has officially launched the 2026 Ghana Heritage Month at Nationalism Park, calling on Ghanaians to preserve and promote the country's cultural identity.
The celebration, organized by the ministry through the Ghana Tourism Authority, is on the theme Experience Ghana, My Heritage, My Pride, Taste 69 at 69. The event also marked the launch of the historic Voja Regatta, a traditional canoe festival celebrated in the Volta region. The minister commended the Ghana Culture Forum and the National Folklore Board for their efforts to promote and safeguard Ghana's cultural heritage. The Chief Executive Officer of the GTA, Mami Efua Huajeto, described Heritage Month as not only a cultural celebration, but also an economic activation strategy. She announced activities lined up for the month, including discounted access to heritage sites, the Taste 69 at 69 culinary showcase, a nationwide heritage caravan, and the unveiling of a revitalized GTA digital platform and enhanced Ghana travel portal.
69 years ago, on March 6, 1957, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah stood before the world and declared, "Ghana, our beloved country, is free forever." Those words were not merely political, they were prophetic. They announced the world that Ghana will not only exist, but Ghana would also lead. Today, in 2026, we gather not only to remember that historic moment, we gather to define what freedom means for us now. Welcome to Ghana Heritage Month 2026.
The launch brought together the Deputy Minister, Yusuf Issaka Jaja, sector directors, traditional authorities, members of the diplomatic corps, industry stakeholders, and the media, all reaffirming their commitment to promoting Ghana's heritage as a source of national pride and sustainable development.
From the entertainment desk, let's go straight to sports after the break.
Hi, welcome to Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth. Our serene environment and cozy rooms provides a pleasant stay. To book a room with us, call 055-5940-103 and 0241-972076. Locate us at Teshinungwa Estate, number 8 Coconut Street, directly behind A-Life Supermarket. Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth.
So welcome back on the sports desk. An African football governing body CAF has announced that the 2026 Women's AFCON has been postponed.
The tournament that was scheduled to be played out from March 17 to April 3 in Morocco has been rescheduled to run from July 25 to August 16. CAF also reassured all stakeholders that despite the change in schedule, they were confident the competition will be successful in July. Prior to the announcement, CAF was under serious pressure to provide clarity on the Continental Championship, largely due to host nation Morocco's nonchalant approach to the tournament. South Africa Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton Mackenzie, recently blasted Morocco's attitude towards the competition and stated that South Africa was ready to step in as hosts.
If Morocco is ready to host WAFCON, because they had a brilliant AFCON, they should do so. But if they are not ready, we want to tell them, we are not a country with no stadiums. We are not a country with no infrastructure. We as South Africa will never be held hostage by countries that has less than what we have. As the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, if you are not going to host, because maybe one or two other countries you can tell them they must wait for you because they don't have the infrastructure. We don't wait for no one. We will not allow women to be treated in such a fashion. We will not allow women's football to be. How in this day and age people are scared to say it. I'm not scared to say it. If Morocco's not going to host it, South Africa, as the Deputy Minister said, we are standing ready. Because at the end of the day, this is all to embarrass the president of CAF. And he didn't say it. I'm saying it. So don't attribute what I'm saying here to him.
And with South Africa ready to host the AFCON, we go for a break. 1 week back, we bring you the international stories.
So there's some look fast. Papa, me again. Let's go yale. Me call you mum. Who hear me? Meant me upset my friend doctor when I'm crossing over. See what we swear.
She has malaria.
Malaria. Oh, what they say what the router? Me copy the ablen sisi. A draw ne friend router mixer. Yeah, come on, ready to draw. And running router. So Gap trap and the draw ku abaso body ase. Wabo router mixer abaso. Router natural products nduane router mixer. Yeah, you kutia a treat. Router tonic and the router life for. And who a feeling like the bunny if in the pedrium. NASA support immune system. Router de obiase. FDA I did get to ya too.
Welcome back. On the international front, more than 200 people, including 70 children, have been killed after a landslide caused a collapse in a mining area in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, government says.
The landslide struck Rubaya, the country's biggest source of coltan, an oil vital in the electronics industry, in the rebel-controlled east on Tuesday following heavy rains. In a statement, the Mines Ministry blamed the tragedy on M2, said they were allowing illegal mining without proper safety standards. The M23 are yet to comment, but a source in Rubaya told the BBC the collapse was caused by attacks from government forces and only 6 had died. The government has not responded to the claim. The mines in Rubaya are thought to hold about 15% of the world's coltan supply and half of the DR Congo's total deposits. The metallic ore contains tantalum, which is used to produce high-performance capacitors in a range of electronic devices, making it in high demand worldwide. Since 2024, the M23 have been in control of Rubaya, which lies about 70 kilometers, which is 45 miles west of Goma, the capital of North Kivu province. The authorities said rescue efforts after Tuesday's landslide were hampered by dangerous conditions, which they blamed on restrictions imposed by rebels on civilians.
And that brings us to the end of this evening news at 6. News coming to you live from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Numwa Ajogon. The news was also live across all our social media handles, MBN 360. Before I take leave of you, we take a second look at the stories making headlines.
CLOGSAC declares nationwide strike, orders members to stay home from Monday. In business, Ghana signs debt restructuring agreement with Belgium. On the international front, DR Congo government says 200 killed after landslide at rebel-held mine.
For more news, log on to MBN 360. My name is El Samuels. Do have a good evening.